Hi everyone, I'm Isabel Torres. So this is where I put everything together for our project. I use Google Slides and it just seemed very well put together all in one place. So the technology description. So I'm going to be talking about Nearpod and Google Slides. So I selected Nearpod and Google for my final project. What is Nearpod, you ask? Nearpod is an online tool that allows teachers to use Google Slides where you are able to teach both in the classroom and remotely thanks to hybrid layout. Teachers can recreate lots of different interactive learning resources that allow students to engage and learn in their own device or classroom panel. I am able to create interactive presentations that contain quizzes, polls, videos, collaborative board, and also Nearpod has a new feature called Immersive Reader, which is pretty cool. Here's my rubric for Nearpod and Google. I mean, both of them, I just think that they're very good tools to use in the classroom. Nearpod, the only thing I graded was the age appropriate, which for kindergartners and first grade, I mean, I think they are able to learn if you do use it with them. I mean, kids are sponges, especially at a young age. I mean, obviously, you're gonna use something that is age appropriate for them, but I think you are able to use Nearpod for kindergartners in first grade. It's all about, practicing using the tool and using and them exploring. Same thing with Google, with everything that has to do with Google. This is my part where I did my little mini presentation for this lesson. Here is my lesson template, which I include my TEKs, my content objective, questions, the mini lesson, vocabulary, any independent work, any if I do anything for stations for science, I always have closures in my lesson if there's any pre or post assessments. And I included for all 3 days that it took for this lesson to be completed by my students. This is the learning menu, which is a hyperdoc that my students used. Since this was a review and we already learned this, they were able to just work as needed, self-paced. I let them work with partners. So this right here is something that let me move this out of the way, that it was like type of, it was what my students created as their final, for me to see if they actually knew about the life cycle. So here are just some two pictures that I took of them using the hyperdoc and them working together collaboratively. This is data from, let me go back. This is data from my Nearpod, which was the matching pair. As you can see, four of them didn't complete the match and pair. And I can see how many tries and if they struggle with this one activity. This is the collaborative board. As you can see right here, she was able to use the sentence stem that I provided. And the week that I did this was English week. So a lot of my students are language learners. So a lot of them are, you're going to see a lot of misspelling, which is fine, but it's what they hear when they speak and they write it, which I push them to use English when it's English week. You're going to see that some of them use both languages. Oh, let me go back. This is the time to climb. And again, this is data for me to see which question my students struggle with. And it was the second question, which was the second stage of the life cycle. And obviously I was able to go back and reteach and let, so they can actually understand, the second stage of the life cycle of the butterfly. And this is the final creation that my students were able to research their own animal, and they created their life cycle on a Google slide from their drive. So here's the polar bear, salamander. See right here too, it's English and Spanish. Again, I push my students, for them, if it's English week, for them to actually try writing in English and reading in English. And this is it. Overall, I am always impressed from my students. They always work their best and show how much they have learned in class. Before I forget, the ending, this right here, I left it at the end just because this demonstration was not with the lesson for this particular project, but I just wanted all you guys to see Nearpod in action when how it's used in the classroom. All right, thanks. Thank you guys.